This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah, I think for us the recording has been started. So let's begin. So we'll go with the introduction of EC payroll and what is the difference between the
Sure, sure.
with the EC payroll and what is the difference between EC payroll and the on-premise payroll solution. And then we'll go with the small introduction, what is exactly EC payroll, how to set up the EC payroll, and then we'll go with the setting up of EC, how to connect from EC to ECP. Okay.
Sure, Prashant.
Let me know when you're able to see the screen.
Yes, I can see your screen now.
Okay. So agenda is this one for us. First, we'll understand what is employee central payroll system. What is exactly a employee central payroll system? Then we will discuss the differences between employee central payroll and on-prem payroll system. What is the difference? We'll discuss about setting up the connection between employee central and employee central payroll system. We'll see the P2P integration, configuration, and replication. Then we would be seeing a time off and timesheet replication configuration, setting up the direct pay statement, third-party integrations, integration between ECP and SAP financials, and the last one is payroll control central configuration.
Sure.
Is the agenda clear for us?
Yes.
Okay. So let's begin. So what is exactly an employee central payroll system? Now, since you have already worked on on-premise payroll system, the now SAP is now driving all his HR, the core HR technology from the Employee Central. Okay. Now, whatever the hiring or the retirement or firing or termination, everything what we used to do in the PA, like the personal administration module in HR, on-prem HR, now has been shifted to Employee Central. So Employee Central system will become the system of records. So that is the source system. What do we call it is as a source system. In this case, employee or there are two scenarios for us. One is a hybrid solution. The second one is a full cloud solution. So we need to understand what the difference is between a hybrid solution and a full cloud solution. Now, when we come to the hybrid solution, the employee central will still remain the source of records or is the source system where the HR data will flow. But in that case, in a hybrid system, the on-prem SAP payroll will be the target system, which is your on-prem system or the SAP on-prem payroll system. Let's call it as a ERP system. Okay, in that way, your employee central is hosted on the cloud, but your on-prem payroll system is still on the customer place, like the customer server. So in that case, you would need a technology, or in that case, you will use the BIB, which is Business Integration Builder, as a replication method. And since these are two different systems, you need a connector in between, which is called the CPI. I'll stop there. If you have any questions on that hybrid?
No, no question on that. But this
Okay.
hybrid will not cover, correct? We only cover B2B right now. Yes.
Pardon?
So we will not cover the hybrid part, that is BIV. We
No,
only
no,
cover
no.
B2B.
It is just the introduction. Just
Okay.
in any course of time, anybody asks you, you should know
Okay.
that what is employee central payroll or what is the on-prem payroll? Why do we use, in which case what we use? So some
Sure, sure.
clients are there. Some clients, they still go for hybrid solution. Why? Because they have invested a lot of money on the on-prem solution and they are not ready to go for full cloud, right?
Okay.
In that case, they still are going for Employee Central as a source system, but they do not want to move to ECP, which is Employee Central Payroll. In that case, that is a hybrid solution where we use BIB, Business Integration Builder, as the replication method. Okay, and we need a connector, a CPI connector in between to connect these two systems, and that is called a hybrid, since both systems are not on cloud. Employee Central is on cloud, but employee or the SAP ERP system is still on premise, like the customer holds the server. The second is a full cloud solution where everything is hosted on the cloud, like the Central Payroll is a full cloud payroll system that you get full control over payroll with the convenience of the cloud. So your EC, the Employee Central, is also on the cloud, and Employee Central Payroll is also on the cloud. In that case, you do not need a CPI or a connector to connect these two systems, since they are both hosted on the cloud. Okay, so what exactly is Employee Central Payroll? So it's basically, it still uses the payroll engine what we used to use in the ERP, the SAP ERP payroll system, but the only difference is it is hosted on the cloud, and many of the functionalities, many of the payroll functionalities still remains the same. Okay, if you see this, the core Employee Central Payroll is built using SAP payroll engine. Okay, since the SAP payroll engine is the driver, is the main driver, they didn't change. So in case of Employee Central, why they went for Employee Central is because of ease or the user friendliness. They didn't have that in PA or whatever the PA personal administration module they used to use in the ERP. So they went on EC, Employee Central, but Employee Central Payroll, they couldn't, find an alternative. So they are using the same payroll engine, and they have built Employee Central Payroll, which is hosted on the cloud. Now it's a full cloud solution. Now, Employee Central Payroll can only be connected to Employee Central. There is no other system which can be connected to it. Now, if you say I want to connect Workday to ECP or JD Edwards to ECP, that is not going to happen. It always requires Employee Central as the source system. You cannot have any other system apart from Employee Central, and the data only flows from Employee Central to Employee Central Payroll. So Employee Central Payroll is a full cloud solution. That means your infrastructure needs are already taken care by SAP. So in case, let's say you have some basis thing like the printer is not working, or the mails are not going out of SAP, or the transport management is not working, all that is taken care of by SAP, because it is a cloud hosted system. It's hosted on cloud, so SAP will take care of all those infrastructure needs. You simply have to raise an incident, but the configuration part, the customizing part, it's the implementation provider has to take care. Okay, now what do you mean by cloud? Cloud means, again, it has a concept of data centers. In any other software, it is the concept of data centers. Now every data center is hosted based on the region specific. Like I'm in India, so we have some data centers in India. If the client is based out of North America, they have few data centers in North America, right? So based on that, the SAP will provide that particular API based on the data center it is near to, which is near to, and they all have a backup data centers. In case a main data center fails, they have a backup data centers also, providing the support 24 by 7. Okay, now Employee Central Payroll is used purely for running the payroll. Hence, only the data which is relevant to payroll is replicated to the system. That is very important. This is like client will say, okay, run this interface. I have some demographic. I have to build an interface out of ECP where it sends the employee personal data, master data, and all that. We will simply say no. Why? Because that is a demographics data. Now we will be running the interfaces, only the interfaces which has payroll results to be reported. For example, I have to send some deductions to the benefit vendor, or I need to send some time interfaces. All these are reported out of ECP, but not the demographics. All those interfaces which doesn't have payroll results in their output has to be moved to their respective modules, like Employee Central. It could be Employee Central time off. It could be Employee Central benefits module. They have to move to those modules. They cannot be run in payroll. Okay, that is the main difference. So Employee Central payroll system is purely for running payroll, and only the data which is relevant will be bringing. Like, we do not want to bring everything, we just want to bring the basic info types. Now data is replicated from Employee Central using the point to point replication. Now, where each portlet is mapped to info types, right? You have portlets concept in Employee Central, right? And each portlet is mapped to a certain info type in SAP or ECP, we can say. So whatever, like the biographic portlet, or job info portlet, compensation portlet, everything, all portlets have some sub information which has to be replicated to the info types. Okay, so that is, we have to do an exercise of creating a workbook. Now that workbook will be in a format that saying that, okay, this portlet, this field has to be replicated to this info type and this field. That is the workbook we expect from the client, and that is an exercise we have to do between a consultant and the client before finalizing the workbook. We cannot go for replication, or the point to point replication cannot be configured after. It could be done only after finalizing, after signing off all the workbooks, basically. Okay, for us, is till this point, is it clear what is ECP and
Yes,
what
yes.
what we are? Okay, let's begin. Now I'll tell you what is the difference. You might be knowing, but just to, some of the points you may not know. So what is the difference between Employee Central Payroll and a ERP Payroll? Now, Employee Central Payroll is a cloud-based solution. As I said, customers access through web browser, and they do not have to worry about infrastructure management, which I just said. Now, Employee Central Payroll can be accessed via web GUI also. And for the developers, we need to configure the SAP GUI also, both ways. Whereas SAP ERP Payroll is nothing but customer has to own the servers. It is not hosted somewhere. It is, the server resides on the customer site, and they are fully responsible for that infrastructure. And ECP is hosted on cloud, and SAP is managing their infrastructure. Now, ECP is tightly integrated with Employee Central module of SuccessFactors. So all the modules like Employee Central and time off and all those modules are tightly integrated with ECP. And now integration allows seamless data exchange between the HCM and payroll process. So all the data which is coming from EC is directly going into ECP into respective info types. Now, in case of ERP payroll, it is personal administration and time management, which is already there in the on-premise. There is no other system. It is in the same system, which is tightly integrated within the same ERP modules. As a cloud solution, ECP receives regular updates and upgrades from SAP. Like, you have SP upgrades, like legal changes or any kind of module specific changes is automatically updated. Like, as a cloud based solution, we just have to tell SAP that we are going on that upgrade path, and they will take care of the upgrades. And so customer do not have to rely or on their own team. You can directly raise an incident to SAP that we need such and such support pack to be implemented in our ECP system, and SAP will have to do it. So it is owned by SAP. Whereas in SAP ERP payroll, you will do all that upgrades and everything has to be done at the customer site, and the customer IT team is responsible for that to update any patches or apply any patches to the latest pack. Last but not the least is developers don't need a developer key to create custom programs. So in EC payroll system, you can directly go and create a Z program. You don't need a developer key here. Whereas in on-prem payroll, you need a developer key to create custom programs. So that are the main, these are the main differences between your employee central payroll and ERP payroll. In these two differences, one thing is common is the SAP payroll engine. That hasn't changed a bit. So we are still using the wage type reporters. We are still using the PCR schemas. We are still using the payroll operations and all that. Only thing, the difference is the source system which has changed. Let's go to the next point. Now, steps to set up the employee central payroll system. So whenever a customer buys an employee central payroll system, we have to request the employee central payroll instances basically from SAP, and they will provide the links, basically the web GUI links, and along with it, they also provide a cust underscore init as an initial user. So you think that this user has a SAP all access, and this is used, or the credentials will be forwarded by SAP, and we will have to use this ID to create other users. Like in the sense, like I got this custom unit password credentials from SAP through an incident. Then I will log in into the system, and I have to create all the other users like the consultants, the administrators, the business users, and all that. So this is the main ID, a super user. You can say it's a super user ID or credentials which SAP first provides to the customer so that they can create other users. By default, SAP provides one dev instance, three quality instances, and one production instance. By that, what I mean is you will get one dev instance with client 100, which where you will be doing the developments, configuration, everything in that. You can split that again. Any instances which you request on top of this is extra. They will charge you extra. Okay. So three quality instances means based on your employee strength. Like some clients, what they'll say, okay, we don't need three quality instances. We are okay with one quality instance because we don't have that much employee population. Now, why do we use three quality instances for? If it's a large client, we have to do the payroll parallel, right? So for those, we create SAP gives three quality instances so that they can use this three quality instances as per their own phase-wise testing scenarios. Like one system can be used as UAT, and one system can be used for payroll parallel, and one system can be used for system testing and all that. So that's why it gives three quality instances by default, and there will be one production instance.
So this one dev, three quality and production, this is not in one charge, right? It will not charge extra on that.
No charges for that.
Okay.
Simply you have to fill out a form, okay, saying that by default they will only give one. Actually, by default they will only give one, but you can also request for three with free charges. But after three, I don't think so. Haven't seen a client which has requested more than three, unless if he is like a like a Fortune 1 company with 2 million or 4 million population, which is very rare. So
Okay.
one instance they will give, but yeah, go ahead, please.
It's okay. So in Employee Central we have only three, correct? It's
Yes.
it's review, quality, and production. So how we can connect those three with this five development? I think it can be development and understand. but we have only one preview. How can we connect one preview to three
Yes,
qualities?
yes, yes. So, yeah, I understand. In Employee Central, you will have one instance for each instance.
Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, the second quality instance will be fluctuating. Okay. Your SF instance will fluctuate when it is for quality. Let's say the data will be the same. They will be just merging the whatever the production data they want to send in that quality instance, but they'll keep fluctuating. Like let's say I have let's take an Excel sheet for this purpose. So let's say I have ECP instance one which is client 100, 200 and 300. These are the three clients from ECP. And in SF I have only pre-prod. We can say pre-prod, let's say. So now
So
they
this
will
is
keep
preview
fluctuating
instance.
this. Pardon?
A preview instance.
Yeah, you can say preview. We call it as a pre-prod or like preview
Yep, yep.
instance. Let's say. Now, at at what stage are you? Like if you are at UAT stage, then you will connect 100 and then you will refresh. And if you are at payroll parallel,
No, but refresh in the sense that let's say the UAT, because in UAT we do create many data. I mean, testing data there. So if we refresh, the data will remain with there.
I mean, it's I'm not. I mean, it depends on what kind of infrastructure they have, but it can be only connected to one instance at a point, and it depends on what iteration you are.
Hmm.
And they can buy, and I have seen clients buying one more instance for this case. Like they have one more instance, like pre-prod or something.
Mhm.
They'll buy two instances, and once the work is done, this will be killed.
Okay.
This will be killed.
Mhm.
After they are done with payroll, let's say in this case payroll parallel is there, they want to do 3 months of testing of payroll parallel, right? They'll request one client from SF saying that we need one more instance. They will provide at an extra charge for 3 months, and after payroll parallel is done, then they'll kill this instance also.
Okay.
And they can also go for one more instance, preview one also they can go for, and
Okay.
they will kill that instance. They won't retain it for whole. It is just for one time activity, and they will retain it for only one time. After the testing is done, they can kill these sessions, these instances. Or else the other way around is to do a systematic client based testing, like the iteration based testing. Generally the UAT will come at the later stage, and payroll parallel can be done at earlier stage. They can do that way, or they can, based on the duration of the project, if they are in real emergency, then they will have to take three instances on an extra charge and then kill them after the implementation is done.
Okay.
That is the procedure. Or,
Okay.
and depends on completely client infrastructures. I have one client which has only 1,000 employees, only 1,000 employees. So they use preview instance only for payroll parallel. After payroll parallel is completely done, then they will again do UAT on that, on the same instance, by connecting it to some other client.
Okay.
That also is possible. So that also is possible. So I can say, okay, payroll parallel is done. Okay, done. There is no data change. We just have to do payroll parallel, right? Payroll parallel is nothing but your YTD, like whatever the legacy you will bring, and then you will run the payroll from SAP and they will compare. So no data change from EC side. Only change is that you are doing payroll parallel. You are just connected to that system. You can retain it or you can kill that, or then UAT you can connect to 100, and your payroll parallel can go ahead, because parallel doesn't need your EC data. It needs the payroll data. It means like your YTDs and all that payroll comparison. These two things happens in here. So
Okay.
even if it is not connected, only one time replication is done, and then you can use this instance, and then you can use the same instance to some other for some other iteration or some other phase, basically. So multiple
Okay.
based on client, how the client wants, we can do it. Okay. So let's come back. So now what I was saying is employee central system can be accessed via web GUI links and SAP GUI logon pad also. Now what do you mean by this? So I have this system here. Say, sorry. Oh, now I'm connecting to one of my web GUI. So this is how your employee central system looks like. If you see, this is a web GUI link. And this number you see, 410085, that is the number given by SAP. Okay. Now it gives you the number 41105. Now, if I say into my ECP instance, let's say I have ECP dev and client. So my ECP is 410085, right? And the client is 100. Now SAP is saying this is my dev. And even before providing quality, I can say they go by sequence. So 410086 is your quality, and 100, it can have 200, and it can have 300 client. And 410087 is your production and 100. So this is how your ECP infrastructure is built. So your 41005 is this web GUI link. Your client is this one. So your dev instance is 100 client, quality is 100, 200, and 300. You can see these two are optional. They give by free, but client, based on client requirement, they will utilize or they don't want to utilize. It's upon their own scenario. But for this to enable this, you have to just raise an SAP incident saying that, okay, I need to copy 100 to 200 and 300. Whatever is there for 100, you need to copy for 200, 300 and create these two clients. And production is this one. So all these are numbered. So this number is very important. Once you get this number, you can add it here. Clear? Any
Okay.
questions?
No, no. So just one
And
on that. On GUI we can perform more activities, but on web URL we cannot perform certain activities.
yes, so that is right. In WebGUI, you cannot do debugging. That's a foremost drawback.
Okay.
No debugging.
And also ABAP need GUI, correct? You cannot work on web GUI.
Pardon?
ABAP need GUI to do the
Yes,
configuration.
yes, yes, yes. SAP GUI is needed for ABAPers or doing any kind of coding, any writing of any interfaces, pay slips, everything for that they need SAP GUI compulsory. And to do the SAP GUI, you need an SNC concept. So for setting up a SAP GUI logon pad, the client has to install an SNC router and raise an incident with SAP for registering it. Okay, it is not simply not by default. They will give you SAP GUI. You have to request. You have to first install. You have to do an SNC router. It is a secure network communication. So this router has to be installed, and you have to register with SAP. SAP will register and your router and SNC in customer side, we will have to register SAP's router, and SAP has to do registration of customer's router. So both ways they have to register it. After that is done, you will get that SAP GUI logon pad, and it generally takes as around 1.5 months to configure this, what I've seen. Takes around 1.5 months to configure the SAP GUI, because that's a new concept they have introduced. Like SAP SNC router has to be installed, uh, and then they have to raise an incident with SAP to register it. And same SAP also has to do the same thing. So IP has to match, and IPs have to be registered across the systems, both the systems. Then only they will provide a router string. So what SAP will provide is a router string details. In this router string, you have to install that, and then you will be able to use it. I'll show you how the router string looks like. So give me a moment. And for this, you need a VPN. For accessing the SAP GUI, customer has to install a VPN. So I'm just showing one small instance to you. So they have to go for the virtual desktop, or they have to install a VPN through which they can access, or developers can access the SAP GUI. So normal GUI you can do using the internet. Directly you can access the internet, and you can do all the configuration here. All the nodes is similar to what we use in the on-prem SAP system. But for using the GUI, you need a VPN, and through VPN only you can access the SAP GUI. You cannot install directly SAP logon pad and then use this. You have to go via VPN only. I'm going to show you how it looks like. So far clear for us?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So I'm logging into the virtual desktop here, as you can see, and then we'll be getting an SAP GUI, and it generally takes around 1.5 months. So you have to plan your project in such a way that when you are bringing ABAPers, make sure that this SNC tunnel is already set up, or you have the time already mentioned in the project plan that this is a SNC setup, which will take around 1.5, because it will take time. So if you see, I'm logging into SAP logon now, and I'm using the same server here. Removed it. I think they have removed it. Let me just go to my email and see. I'll show you this. I think they have removed my this one. We have to just create this. So here you have to give the this application server, and this one, the router string, will be different. It will have all the different string. That string is created only when we register our server with SAP, or the SNC router has to be set up with SAP, and SAP has to come back and register our customer router also. So it will look something like this. I'll show you. Ha. This is how it look like. After registration, it will look like this. So your payroll41.sf.com/s by 3299, and this is the IP address of the customer, and they are registering payroll41.sap. That is the SAP server. This is the customer IP address 66.192, and payroll 41 is the SAP IP address. So they are registering and creating a router string through which you can connect the SAP GUI. Once you put this here, let's say I put it here. Now I can log in here. Okay, they have removed. I'll tell, but this is how you connect to your SAP server, the GUI server. I think it's not working right now, but so this is how you connect your SAP GUI server, basically. Any questions?
No, no question.
So one thing is Employee Central is always the system of records when the integration is with Employee Central Payroll. So Employee Central will Payroll will only accept Employee Central as the source system, and it is a system of records. Any data it is only accepting via Employee Central only. And one more thing we have to take care is your OM side, the organization management, the relationships and all that will not be created in Employee Central Payroll. I'll repeat it again. Your relationships, I mean HRP 1001, 1000, all those things will be out of scope for Employee Central Payroll. You cannot replicate OM from EC to Employee Central Payroll. You cannot simply do that. It is only the employee data, the master data, which can be replicated. OM data cannot be replicated. Only the text, whatever you store in the Employee Central employee, like the job positions text, only those will be migrated, or those will be replicated, or you can say you can move that data. But the relationships between org unit to position to job, all those things will be not replicated to Employee Central Payroll. It is out of scope. So whatever your OM reports and all that is there has to be run in Employee Central only. It cannot be run in Employee Central Payroll. That is a very important thing. Any client will ask you like, okay, I want to replicate OM, then you can simply say Employee Central Payroll doesn't allow OM objects to be replicated. Okay. Next one is, before you start the replication mapping and all that, you need to first create a workbook, and that workbook will have all the instances of like how the Employee Central and Employee Central mappings, field level mappings are there. So let's say I have Employee Central system here, and then what field, let's say I have a personal data like SSN, social security number, or user ID, or gender, or marital status. What are those values and how you can map it to the employee? That will be defined in this workbook. So before we do the replication mapping or even P2P, make sure that someone has to take care of this workbook sign off also. Like I have some values in Employee Central. How those can be mapped to Employee Central payroll has to be defined in a workbook, and this workbook has to be done with client and the consultant, and they have to sign off before you can go ahead with the P2P mapping. And that workbook will have the details for each portlet versus info type. So your left side will be having Employee Central portlet details with all the fields, and the right side will have Employee Central payroll info type and field level details. All this has to be mapped in a workbook. Without this workbook, we will not even proceed for the replication. Okay. To do the replication, we use the point-to-point methodology. It is the point-to-point configuration has to be set up to integrate the data between Employee Central and Employee Central Payroll. So in order to do the P2P, we have to set up the connection, which is our next topic. And how do we do that? So I think this is where you wanted some questions answered, right, for us?
Yes, 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 yes. That's what I stuck
Okay.
because when I do it, it's getting failed. Might be I haven't downloaded the correct certificate or somewhere I know.
Okay. The first thing you have to do is you have to download the standard SSL certificate from S Trust transaction. So let me show you that. So this is a standard the certificate. So what you have to do is you have to go here and you have to export the certificate here. This certificate you have to export it. And next what you have to do is I don't have an Employee Central instance I can show you. So what you have to do is go to the Employee Central instance to which you want to connect that Employee Central payroll instance. You have to first get the Employee Central instance. So you have to you have to discuss the landscape with the client. Okay, what is your dev client for Employee Central? Give me the Employee Central dev instance so that I can connect this instance to the Employee Central payroll instance. Okay, once you get that instance, you have to go to the security center and you have to go to X.50 mapping. There is a last node, a tile which says as X.509 mapping. There are two actually nodes. There are two tiles for that. You have to go with the mapping one. Okay, and you have to add the details. What are the details? You have to first give the name and you have to upload the certificate which you have done it from the first step. Whatever you have done from the S Trust, like whatever the certificate you have downloaded, you have to upload the certificate here, and you have to make sure that your API user credentials you have to ask from the Employee Central team. API user credentials, or what is the API user they are using in the Employee Central. And one thing you have to make sure that that API user password should not contain any special character. Like you cannot have at the rate or hashtag or something like that in the password. Even though we are using certificate based connection, you still do not need, you should not have the API user password. There should not be any special character in that. Okay. Once you add that certificate in the security center in that Employee Central instance, we need the API server URL and the company ID, and which you will easily get from the Employee Central URL. Like you have something like a payroll preview, payroll SF41. Like let's say in this case, we'll go with the same report. This is the one which we need. How do we get this API server URL? Is by the actual URL of the success factors. So in this case, if you see my application URL and your API server URL, so you have to see which one of this is your data center. Basically, all these are data centers. So you have like HAP 10 preview, 18 preview, and all this, right? Whatever the instance you belong to, that API will be used. So in this case, we are using API 4. That means it is somewhere in the South America.
Okay. So when I am setting up a connection, I'm not getting the user
User,
field fill in.
user pre-filled. You don't have to use this at all.
Okay.
You have to use either the X509 certificate option, or
Okay.
you have to use this. It is not both.
Okay. No, because when I put the API URL, I am getting the same URL in the certificate API URL as well. But in your case, it's
Okay,
two different
yeah, yeah,
URL.
it is too different. You have to ask the URL from your employee central team. What is is it the same? It cannot be the same. Definitely, it won't be the same. So your employee central URL will be something started like
No,
www.https
no, I'm talking about
hcm10.
if I see your screen and API server URL, it's API 4 dot that I clear. But if you go to a connection part in the certificate API URL, you're getting API dot sud dot successfactor.com. I'm not getting that URL.
Yeah, that how you will get. I'm showing right now.
Okay.
So how you get it is you have to do the S trust na. The
Mhm.
S trust transaction. That is why we use na. That is this is not the actual API URL. It is nothing but your S trust whatever the certificate you have downloaded.
Okay.
So if you see here, this is the standard I have used, right?
Mhm.
This is the certificate which I have used. Here I have
Mhm.
exported it and have
Mhm.
used the same certificate in the security center, right?
Okay.
After that, what I will do is I will have to select the certificate here. Like if it is a default, a standard. So I'm using standard here because I'm using default. When you
Mhm.
select the default, automatically the API server URL will populate. You don't have to do anything here.
Okay.
So how you will do that? It is because I'm using this certificate.
Okay.
Okay. So you have to use either see 000 _SD anonymous and standard, right? Here you will find see standard anonymous 000 _SD. You have to use the
Mhm.
standard one.
Okay.
And I'll show you one more instance of it. Let me log into another client. So in this case, if you see, they have registered three clients for this is the quality system. So for each client, they have three different certificates.
Mhm.
So we'll be using 100 _SD.
Mhm.
This 100 _SD will be there in all clients when you buy the employee central payroll system.
Okay.
Okay. And you have to take that certificate and export it. Take that
Mhm.
in and use this export certificate and use this certificate and upload in the employee central where you have to upload X509 mapping, add details and upload the certificate from our step. And it will also ask the username. What you will use the username is API user. You have to ask API or the employee central team what is the API user name. Generally, it will be something like this. If they have not created anything extra, this will be the API username. And in some clients, the employee central team will create based upon their whatever they want to use API. But by default, I think SAP gives you this API user as the user credential. So there you have to first upload it. So what will happen once you upload that certificate there, and then you come and run this report. And the first point, you have to use this checkbox as tick mark.
Mm-hmm.
The same screen what you see is you have to use in to first connect your SAP payroll and employee central. What you have to do first, API server URL based on your employee central instance. You have to use what is the company ID. Done. Then you have to use connect with X509 certificate. You have to use that 100 underscore SD from stress, whatever it is. When you click on F4, you will get that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then automatically the server URL will populate. Then you have to use this create target system checkbox ticked, and you have to use it will automatically populate based on whatever the client you are logged in.
Okay.
Okay. Now what once you set this connection data, then you have to execute. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
executing, it's already created. Once you execute this, it will show you that it has been connected successfully. I can show you here somewhere. I can show you here. So once you set up this, you will get all this here also. If you see 300, so basically based on the client, that certificate you have to upload.
Mm-hmm.
So because we are doing 100 underscore SD, you can do 100 SD. If you are using 300 client, then 300 underscore SD you can use. So all this
Okay.
is created by SAP only.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you are make sure the first time you have to click this create target system. What this will do is it will create a replication target system in employee central system.
Okay.
That replication target system is very important. If you do not check this box, then your replication target system is not created in employee central. What will happen? The connection is not set up.
Mm-hmm.
Now after you set the connection, it will say that your connection has been set up properly. Like if you see like something like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It will say your creation of RFC destination and all this has been created successful. This is the message you should be getting when you set up.
Okay.
And then when you do the ping, then next you have to do is the ping. What is ping? You have to test the connection. You have to check all these three and you have to ping it. Then it will show you, okay, your query is successful, data replication proxy, and you will get the confirmation also.
Mm-hmm.
This is the screen you should get. Then only you can say that, okay, my connection is successful now.
Okay.
Okay. That is how you do your connection, first initial connection setup. And now you can tell me what is the error message you are getting.
So basically, that's what I'm saying. I'm not getting that certified API URL. That part is not coming for me.
This
It's
one is not coming for you.
Yeah, and also the user is not coming. So when I am clicking, the second one is failing. RFC connection is failing for me. All three checks
Yes.
are coming.
Okay. So basically, have you done this part, this security center part?
I did it, but might be I did it in wrong way. So that's what I
Yeah,
need to
then you
check
have to
again.
do the, yeah,
So
that you have to do
in
it in the
in
correct
security
way.
center, we have to upload it in I mean in X50 certificate, correct? We have to create that one.
Yes,
X509
yes.
certificate.
Where you will get, I told you right here, you have to get it.
No, I can see the three options are there, two options. One is X509 certificate, one is X509 public certificate mapping. So where we need to upload this?
Yeah, the last one, the mapping.
Mm, okay, okay.
And that one is grayed out, right? If you do not have authorization, sometimes what will have happen is employee central people will not give the access to this easily unless so you have to ask them to tell guide them through, because that is generally grayed out. If you have wide open access, then only you will have that access open for that tile. So the
Okay.
last one, which is X509 mapping, right? The last tile,
Mm-hmm.
there you have to upload this certificate.
Okay.
So once you get this employee central instance ready, then you have to
Mm-hmm.
take this certificate, upload into X509. This
Mm-hmm.
this this you have to do. Upload it. Make sure you have API user with you, else you won't be able to do it. So ask your employee central team what is the API user they are using. Plus, ask them the password should not have a special character. And if they have password as a special character, then ask them to change it.
Okay.
So you when you try to can you like I don't have that screen, but
If
with
you
me.
want, I don't know, can I share my screen because I have both screen with me.
Yes, yeah, yeah, you can share your screen, please.
I hope you can see my screen now.
Oh, 1 second. Where did my go? Just 1 second. Where did it go? Yeah, I can see. Yeah, correct. Yeah,
So
that
when
is
I
the one you need. Click on
here,
that. Click on.
nothing is coming. Nothing is coming, and I click on that.
Okay, yeah, your certificate is itself is not there.
So
Yeah, you
how can
need
I
to
get
raise an
it?
SAP incident. Yeah, you have to raise an incident with SAP.
So when I come standard, it's there. But when I come to here,
Okay.
nothing is there.
Go to the standard one once. Double click on that. Yeah.
This one,
Yeah. No, no. Go below and do the export. Let's see that export. They should actually give 100 underscore SD. That is
I'm
how
seeing
we
no
correct.
no certificate select.
Ah, yeah, that means a problem with setting up your employee central payroll instance. So what you have to do is you have to raise a ticket with SAP saying that my certificate SSL certificate in 100 underscore SD is not properly configured. Please do the needful,
Okay.
because the certificate is provided by SAP and they own this part.
So we have when we click, it should come by default here, correct?
Yes, yes, correct. So how they do it is they map it to the data center and all that. Okay, your system is this one, and then that is a certificate that will be used by Employee Central, and that certificate is used to connect basically. But you still
Okay.
don't have that certificate list also.
Okay.
Can you see if you can export it below? Check that export option. Yeah, and kindly do that.
Binary.
Go to base 4, base 64, and file path you give. No, 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 file path you have to give. File path. Yeah, click.
No. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, and put yeah. You can use it. You can name something else, no? A file name. Yeah, and click on OK. Yes. Okay, you can click on write. It
It's
will
getting
store somewhere.
exposed. Okay, so yeah.
Where where did it store?
I store in one location. Yeah, here. So it's
It is
still
stored,
KB.
right?
100%
Yeah.
is
Now,
nothing is
yeah,
there
yeah,
on
it is
that.
stored. It is stored. It is stored. Now go
But
to now. Yeah, yeah. Now go to upload this, and you need API credentials here.
okay, but my API credential has at the rate sign, so I need to change that credential first. Login credentials.
No, no. Just go to Employee Central once.
No, no.
Go to
My API credential password is having special character.
wait. What is the username? Your
It's
username
SFAPI.
for a SF API. Okay. and try to upload certificate. And let's see, you can reset your password, right? If you have access to it.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Yeah, let's reset it. You have authorization, right, to do that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now you can do not use any special character. Uses will be checked against. It is done, I believe. Yeah. No, no, no. Go to. Let's do it now.
No, but it will reset the first time when you log in. It will reset the password.
You don't have to log. I mean, just have to reset. Anyways, yeah, you can check it out if it is able to log in with that. Yeah.
No,
Didn't. SF API or SF AP1? Okay.
no, yes,
Okay, it's login. Now you can log out. Take your user.
that's what I.
Okay, you want to. Yeah, go ahead, please.
But why that certificate is not appearing on that screen and it's able to export that?
Yeah, I think it is there. Let's see with the certificate if we are able to connect it. Let's do that. Now log in with your username. Security center. Go to the last certificate mapping. Yes. Add it. You can give the configuration name as something which is useful, like,
That's right.
yeah, I can give like whatever the ECP instance you are trying to correct.
And then log
Yeah,
in for
and SF
enter.
API. Yes, yes. Save it. Okay. Now go to the ECP system. Go to that report.
What is it I'm looking for
R
that?
RP underscore, or you can say HRSFSC underscore P2P underscore config. Yeah, that's the right. Yeah, you had it. No, it is PTP underscore config.
Right.
HRSFEC, not SPEC.
Yes.
FEC, and yeah, that's the one. Now, yeah, see, you have it now.
But username is not coming here.
No, no, user you don't need now. You don't need it.
Okay.
You don't need that. Yeah, now you create a checkbox on that create target system. Okay,
Execute.
and just, yeah, now you execute this.
This is the error I'm getting.
Okay, what is the error you're getting? Go below. Okay, I think the certificate problem it is.
Because the
This
error
is a
only come in this
certificate.
O data part.
No, no,
Target.
yeah, it didn't create the replication target system because it was having some certificate issue. Can you go below? Somewhere it will show that untrusted certificate or something. Wait a second. Okay, just wait a second here. Status not successful. Certificate secure, not trusted certificate. So in this case, you take this, copy this text, the whole message text. Do you have S user ID? No, no, everything, entire message column.
Okay. How? No. How can I copy it?
No, no, entire. Just click on that message column.
This should.
Oh, no, no, the message where it says message. Yeah. Now copy this. Control C. and place it in a notepad, a new notepad.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. Now save this file.
Yeah, it will be saved already.
Yeah. Now you have to, do you have S user ID?
Yeah, I have a ID. Right.
Then you have to create a ticket with SAP under EC payroll under that section, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to upload this notepad saying that you are getting an untrusted certificate. This one error. Try with default also once. I don't think so. I think they have messed up something.
But default,
And
you
this
have
is,
uploaded certificate for default.
you can check. Still, this certificate is also not correct. Yeah, you use 100 underscore SD only, but you have to tell them because only they can solve it because the certificate itself is a problem. 100 underscore SD, not CD.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay,
And
okay.
you can execute again, see once more, you are getting same thing or not.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, same thing. So it is a certificate issue, not anything to do with our thing. It is not able to connect to the replication target system because certificate is not working. So you have to raise a ticket with SAP. They will do it within 1 day.
Okay, sure, sure, I will do that.
Okay. Once you create this, once they will get back, I think they will say, okay, everything is sorted out. Then you have to run this report again,
Mhm.
and you will see those messages. So you
So I
see
have
the
to
creation
upload
of.
certificate. I have to upload certificate again here once they resolve this issue after deleting it and creating one
No,
more
no,
account.
this should be that you can say, okay, I have done all the configuration, everything correctly. You can put this screenshot also in a Word document, and along with that, you have to attach that notepad error message you are getting, and you have to say, okay, I have followed the steps of connecting the employee central with employee central payroll
Mhm.
using X509 certificate mapping, but I'm getting a issue with the certificate issue, and then you have
Okay.
to raise it as high
Mhm.
high
Okay.
high ticket priority. Then they will what they'll do this, they'll correct the certificates from their end,
Okay. No, but what we have
and
done
then
right now, download the certificate and upload here. If they correct it, we need to re-upload here.
yes, you have to do that again.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. Okay. Fine. Okay. Sure.
Okay, you can retain it now, or you can later you can do it after they are done. They say that okay, it's everything is fine. You can do that later
Sure.
also. Again, you have to do it this task.
Okay. Sure. Okay.
Okay, so this is the first step, and I
Mhm.
think it time we will take the session of replication mapping tomorrow. I'll show you how the workbook is created
Mhm.
and how we do the replication mapping basically. We'll
Mhm.
take it tomorrow, and I'll show you in detail what
Okay.
things we have to take care.
Okay.
Okay, just do raise this ticket on priority because they'll take time. Sometimes they'll ask you cross back questions. They will do. So
Mhm.
using high priority, you have to make sure that you raise this ticket as soon as possible.
Sure. Sure.
Okay, all right. So we'll continue tomorrow same time, and then
Mhm.
we'll go through the replication mapping step by step. How after the connection setup, we'll do the personal area, location, all these portlets we'll be seeing in detail tomorrow.
Okay. Sure. Sure.
Okay.
Hi
So
guys, before we end up, if you, I just wanted to talk about one thing. Maybe once you're done, we'll talk. Yeah,
yeah, it's done, Sai.
yeah, right. Okay. For us, you were asking about that support kind of stuff, right? Like, Prabhas, I mentioned you about it. Prashant, sorry.
Yes, correct, correct.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So, can we have a quick discussion about it?
Yeah, sure, sure. Okay. So, Prashant, I'm currently in KSA region and I'm working with one of the organizations. They have multiple projects. So, they want the resource who can do the front ending and the configuration for the ECP part. ECP, what I'm saying in terms of EC is already they have the resource. What they need to, the configuration of ECP, where you need to, like, whatever need to create an ECP box, that configuration need to be taken care by that person. So it's
Okay,
workshop, it's requirement gathering, it's UAT, it's iteration. The person need to lead there, and also the backend configuration of like disconnections, PCC, and and the complete backend configuration. This is one scenario. or if he can do a front ending part, just leading the configuration, I mean taking the configuration everything, and do some part like P2P or PCC, and rest all we have resources who can configure the backend system, who can create the waste types and schema, everything that part, that can be taken by some other consultant. So there are two scenarios I have discussed. So you're looking for those roles.
Okay, I can do the back end part.
Backend, see,
Since
that's what the
I'm a
problem. Yeah, yeah. See, that's what I say, Sai.
oh,
Backhand is again somebody need to be the front end, because we are facing a challenge of front ending part with the resource which we have is not working properly. Because from front end we need the somebody to interact with the customer, get the requirement, do the workshop iteration. That we are looking for.
mhm. Yeah, the front end. The problem with front end is we need a functional consultant in that case.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not a functional consultant, but you will need a full-blown functional consultant to drive that front end part. Since
No, but
during
sorry,
requirement, yeah,
sorry, but
yeah,
in ECP terminology, if I say functional means, can you elaborate that part well? Because
yes, yes. So in
mm-hmm,
ECP there are two things. One is technical part, the other
mm-hmm,
is the functional part, same as we have in on-prem. Okay,
mm-hmm,
when we say ECP consultant means generally people have perception that it is a functional consultant, but no, we do have two different sections in that. So
mm-hmm,
in ECP consultant, when we say it is a functional consultant, then his job is to get the requirement gathering, as to filling up the workbook, sitting with EC consultant and the client. That
mm-hmm,
is ECP consultant who is functional, because that person will know ECC, the SAP part also, and the
mm-hmm,
EC will know the EC part, and they have to integrate and they will have to design the workbook sitting with the client. Okay,
mm-hmm,
that is a part of the functional consultant. Now technical, what he will do, once the workbook is created, the technical person will create the replication mapping. He will do the baddie configuration, baddie writing of code, everything. That is ECP technical consultant. So now there are two scenarios either, and we have to see what role they have set in. Like, you cannot have ECP consultant who will take care of both the functionalities, because he may not know the technical part. He will know only functional part, and
mm-hmm.
technical people will not be able to drive this because they don't know the functional part.
Okay, so let me take in that way. Okay, so the role the role I'm looking for is the person who can, that's what I said, lead the workshops, iteration, everything, and who is capable of doing the backend configuration of the waste types, PCI schemas, everything. Not body, ABAP part, not ABAP, not basis part.
Okay, yeah, that means you need a functional person, basically.
Yeah, yeah. So who can configure the waste types, who can configure the work schedule, who can tweak the schema, who can tweak the PCI, who can run the payroll, and
Correct,
who
correct.
can, that part I'm only looking for. Any enhancement
Yeah,
part,
then
body and Vapor, that I don't need.
yeah, then you would need a functional person. Then I think I'm not the person in that who fits in that role. But let me check if I can. Like, that's a functional, total functional person who will take care of that workshops and all that. So we'll have to check if there is anybody close by who can support it. But yeah, you need a functional basically.
Sai, I think
Fine,
you're
I
clear.
got it too. I'll work on it for us. Okay, I got it now.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, if that is it, then I think we can connect tomorrow same time, and I will
Sure, sure.
uh, we can we can go forward with the replication setup.
Yes, yes, sure, sure.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, I, and thanks for us.
Thanks, Sai.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.